Yeah, the weather is unbelievable out. I'm glad to see that you're outside with the flag flying. How about that Illinois flag, huh?
Yeah, how about that? Brand new, got it at the state tournament. I was
Oh, you
waiting to,
did,
yeah, I was waiting to put it up. I was hoping they were going to do something good in the Big Tens.
and they
They did.
did.
Oh, they did. It was awesome.
Yeah. What are some of your takeaways from the Big Ten tournament?
I thought it was great. I mean, I thought Illinois wrestled tougher than nails. I think that Penn State's not invincible. They could take some losses at the tournament. They're going to win it, but I think it's going to be fun. I was really impressed with a few guys.
Yeah.
That McNeely kid from Minnesota,
What weight was he?
80 right, 84-pounder, Russell Strachey. He looked great.
Yeah. What was
You
the ending
know
score of that?
what? Like 4-1 maybe, something like that. I don't know in
Yeah.
the finals. Yeah, he's a tough kid though. I think he's a redshirt freshman.
Yeah. What about that? What is his Vladimir Bolnum? The guy who
Yeah,
beat
yeah,
Bartlett,
right.
right?
Yeah, it was awesome. Same Ben Keeter, the heavyweight from Iowa, had a great tournament. He finished third.
Yeah, he did. He came back strong. I didn't know he was gonna make that comeback, but he did,
Right.
and
Yeah.
he beat Feldman,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah.
Yeah. I think he beat
Boom.
him twice.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about Gable Stevenson just for a second. It's amazing what he did. It's just I thought Kirkliff would give him something, but man, that's crazy. I mean, he's and sometimes it doesn't even look like he's trying, even though we know he is. And a guy was at the Big Tens called me and said Kirkliff looked like he had just been run through a ringer when he came off the mat.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I thought maybe that kid from Oklahoma State might go with him, but man, I don't know if there's anybody that's going to go with him.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can go. I mean, how he looks out there, he looks so impressive.
He
You know,
does.
it's kind of one of those whatever. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you shoot on him, he's gonna score. If you start stalling and don't shoot, he'll just start shooting.
And he'll throw you
Yeah,
up because in the semifinals we threw the kid into the table, just picked
yeah,
him up and said, "Here you go, go
yeah.
and sit down."
I don't think it. I don't even think our brains can wrap around the concept of how heavy that Nick Feldman is and how light Gable Stevenson made him look.
Wasn't it crazy? I mean,
It was insane.
yeah. I
If you
mean,
see Gable Stevenson coming your way and he's angry, lay down and
nope,
play dead.
yep. I mean, it could be he might be one of the best he might be one of the best heavyweights ever in
Yeah.
the U.S.
I just think he's one of the best athletes by far
Yeah, he
that
just
in the human race.
right.
You know,
And
he's
you know what's crazy though is that he couldn't make it in the WWE. He couldn't make it in the NFL. So that tells you what's in the NFL.
yeah.
I mean, the only reason he didn't is because of his height.
Yeah.
They're looking for height. They're looking for 6'5" guys, and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
and
I still don't know if he fully hasn't made it in the WWE. I
right.
think he's just early in the process and he has a lot of opportunity, whether it's with finishing out college or UFC and MMA. And I just think that all those businesses, with the UFC and WWE are so aligned that I don't think he's out of it. I think he just started the process of learning how to do it, to be honest.
right. It'd be great. It'd be great to see him wrestle in the Olympics one more time too.
Oh yeah. I don't see why wouldn't he?
Right. Yeah.
If he can, you think he won it the last time he was in there and he looks so special. Like he is just, when I watch him wrestle, I'm like, I can't, it doesn't even make any sense how he can do that to other people that are so tough.
To a national champ.
Yeah. These guys are tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of the most unique specimens, and he just makes them look very average.
And it's not that they're just great athletes; they're tough young men.
Yeah,
I mean, those guys are. All those guys are and stuff. So I mean, I'm glad he came back. At first, I kind of wasn't, but I think he's great for the sport. He's great for Minnesota.
Yeah,
and he's doing a great job. His comments and everything else are very good. So I'm very impressed with him.
Well, speaking of that, let's going into that thread. Like, how much do you think he has impacted those underclassmen to compete that well at the Big Ten tournament?
Right. I mean, yeah. You don't think he's a motivator?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
Yeah.
hard not to try to show up when you got the best kid in the country
Right.
on your team like that. He's not just he's just not a good kid at a weight class. He is nobody in wrestling can beat him.
Right.
No matter what. If you just do all classes, like what do they call that? They used to do that where there's no weight class,
Yeah.
I forget what they call it, but yeah, nobody can beat him up.
No.
He's
No.
a special.
It was awesome. He impressed me.
Yeah. And then Illinois, I mean, they just showed up. They wrestled their butts off, right?
Yeah. And, they got some guys that are redshirting this year too and stuff. I think they're going to be okay next year too.
Yeah.
I really do.
I just hope that, like we were talking a little bit in a text thread, that group chat, like I really hope that performance, and maybe they perform well at the nationals. Like I hope that helps them get that facility.
Right. Exactly. That without a doubt.
I mean, you get a top 5, you get in the top 10 in the country, you got to compete with the other schools with the facilities, with the recruiting. You gotta
And
have
the money.
Yeah. And it's just hopefully they're able to get all that stuff. So
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was impressed. I mean, I've waned towards. I mean, everybody knows I'm a diehard Hawkeye fan, but I just love the sport of wrestling, and watching college wrestling and great wrestling was awesome. It was a great tournament. I mean, I not only did I watch the Big Tens, but I watched the ACCs, I watched the Big 12s, I watched the Ivy League, I watched the MAC, everything.
yeah. Well, speaking of, you're wearing the Northern Iowa sweatshirt, and they got second at the Big 12 tournament.
Came down to the last. I mean, it came down to heavyweight.
Yeah.
And I mean, they lost a match in the finals. You and I did, which would have made a difference, which they might have tied. But this Wyatt Volker kid, the 97-pounder from you and I, beat 2 kids that beat him during the year and won the Big 12s.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool seeing that. And then I'm telling you right now, Starachi better be ready because Kekaisen is coming.
Yeah.
He is coming.
So just looking ahead a little bit to NCAA's, when you think of like all this, I mean, obviously we won't know until the brackets come out, because how the Big Ten tournament impacts the seeding criteria is going to be insane, right?
Yeah.
But what weight class, off the top of your head, are you looking forward to? Just not just the finals, but how that bracket's going to play out.
Well, a couple of those places where the Penn State kids got beat, I think that's going to be a whole different challenge. And I think it's going to be, I mean, there's going to be every weight class is going to be awesome. But I mean, like, look at 174, right?
Well, what do you mean?
Oh, look at there's 3 guys that could be national champions
in
that weight class. I mean,
I'm starting to think though, after Keegan O'Toole beat DJ, I mean, he beat him in tiebreaker overtime?
Yeah, early.
Yeah, but man, he is just such a winner. I mean,
Yeah.
to beat both of those guys, Levi Haynes and DJ Hamidi in the same year, that, I mean, I would have crowned him already if you beat both of those guys. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though. I mean, it's a whole nother ball game once it gets to be there.
Yeah.
Another one I think is going to be fun to watch. I think 97.
Okay.
I really do. I mean, just think there's a couple. I mean, if that Barr kid's healthy, the Cardenas, you got what's his name from Iowa, and setting out in California, he's a pretty good wrestler, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be I think it's going to be a great weight class. And honestly, heavyweight's going to be awesome for second. Just even those top 8 guys, that are All-Americans this year are true heavyweights, because there's a ton of guys that could be All-Americans, and there's a ton of guys that couldn't.
Yeah, that heavyweight division is definitely tough, and I think I didn't get to see the heavyweight match with Schultz, but how was he? How good?
It was close. I mean, it was like, I think it was 4-2 or something like that. It was a close match with Hendrickson.
Yeah, and Schultz is somebody who will probably show up to compete at the NCAA tournament.
Yes, he will, and he's got the size, and he's a Greco guy, and he can brawl, and that's like those 2 boys from the Barnacle. How do you pronounce their last name?
Hononegah.
The Brown-Ankles. Those dudes are just tough guys. They fight. I mean, it was awesome, and I still think it was terrible call.
Yeah. The
I don't
takedown
think it was
or the
two.
first one?
The takedown. I don't think it was a takedown.
Yeah, I feel like
And
I had a conversation today. I feel like it was them trying to right the first call of
mm-hmm.
stopping them wrestling on the edge.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get a chance to look at that, but it looked like the I think Pinto, it looked like his foot came out of bounds when he got the takedown, but they called it already, so they didn't even matter. And
Right.
then they did the review, and that took forever. And then, I mean, for it to end like that, I was talking to a former Illini today, and I said, on one hand, I don't think it was a takedown, but on the other hand, how did Hononegah let him get to that point?
Right. He had
Like,
a stall.
how
He had a stall. He could still stall.
just
He could have
drop
just
down, put your head
right.
down, and
Yeah.
stop. But
Stick your butt at the edge of the mat.
yeah, but I assume he was exhausted. I mean,
I don't
that's
know.
what
Yeah.
happens.
But it was like, how did that happen? Right.
Yeah,
Why aren't you on the edge of the mat? It's the only time I believe you should be on the edge of the mat.
yeah.
Well,
It was,
now I guess it doesn't matter because it's changed. So
yeah, but he that kid still wrestled back, and he beat
yeah.
who did he beat that
He
was
beat
seated ahead of him?
the kid from Ohio State.
Yeah, Karchlaw.
Yeah.
Right. I think it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a phenomenal Big Ten tournament.
It
And
was.
if that's a precursor to the NCAA, it is going to be. I mean, regardless, I think Penn State still even after the fact that all those upsets happen and they still win by 40 points. When you add all the other teams and stuff, I think Penn State pulls away and still accomplishes it. But the fight for second, third, and fourth, right? They give out 4 trophies.
4. Yep.
4. The fight for 2, 3, and 4 is going to be, I mean, Nebraska, Oklahoma State. Well, Michigan's probably not in it, but
Minnesota is.
Yeah, Minnesota's definitely in it.
Iowa is. UNI is.
Iowa, UNI, Nebraska. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are going to be.
Nebraska wrestled great. Just so solid, and they're tough kids.
Yeah, absolutely. They
and their coach is a nut job. It's awesome watching him. Man,
I don't know if what's funny is back in the day when I was at Nebraska, the other assistants would always call, they would make fun of him, say he's crazy, and Manny would come in and show technique at the last 15 minutes of practice that nobody understood or whatever. And then when you saw, when all the turmoil and the review stuff was happening, and he's just, I mean, it was a good show. It was a good, it was made for TV. That's for sure.
Yeah. I just wish somehow they could take the coaches and somehow not let them get to that table unless they're asked to come to the table.
Yeah, I would agree. I think on one hand, I think coaches,
out of hand.
The coach's corner should be off the mat.
Yeah, they should be off the mat.
Off the mat, especially the fact that there isn't another skirt mat that's on the north and the south side.
Yeah.
And like the only way you can wrestle on the edge at the Big Ten tournament is in the corners.
That was another whole thing with wrestling on the edge. They didn't have room.
Yeah, it's either make the circles smaller so you have more edge wrestling, right? Yeah. Or you have to. I mean, on you can go look online and social media and stuff, and Northwestern and Resolite were doing like a co-promotion of the new mats that they got. And I'm like, you just spent all this money on new mats, and you're not gonna have the edge big enough for them to wrestle on? That doesn't make any sense.
How about the guys flying into tables?
I mean, some of that stuff I still do not understand how we're, and that's why what Iowa does really good with their duels. The mats are so big, they are nowhere near the edge of the mat.
They can wrestle forever.
And I don't understand how Iowa's the only program that has that capacity.
But getting back to, they have to be able to stop those guys from just coming over when they feel like to come over.
Yeah.
You gotta, if you throw a brick, you throw the brick, okay, let them go over and look at it. And then they come over and explain it to them, and that's it. But there were so many matches that they were just and then the coaches got after each other all the time. Yeah. And I'm competitive as hell, but you got to respect the sport.
Yeah, we have to have a better process. Yeah, when I was watching that one match, I saw the assistant coaches for Nebraska looking at the screen and yelling at the ref. And it's like, we got to have some separation. And even if the refs are good or bad, whatever they make the call about, it can't be like everybody has the ability to yell at each other. Like
Right.
you just can't.
Right.
It's not professional at that level, and ultimately, like, that level of official, they're trying their best.
Yeah, they
Um,
are. They're the best
and
officials.
yeah,
The Big Ten.
they are the best officials, and
Yep.
you got to give them the peace of mind to make good calls. And even for the Illinois guy, like Nebraska was impacting the call to be objective because Nebraska was all over the table,
Right.
And
Yeah.
I, as a former coach, I know how you can get into minds of coaches. You can
Oh,
get them or into the
the
minds of a ref.
officials.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that they definitely did that because they did not spend much time looking at that 2-point takedown
Yeah.
or
I
that
mean,
3-point
yeah.
takedown.
I mean, I'm sure the NCAA has noticed it and seen it. They got to make some changes.
Yeah.
And it's got to be legit. Like, you're going to get warned, or the next time you're going to lose a team point.
Yeah. Or
And
the
then that,
university. I mean, find the university of some kind.
yeah.
I
Or
mean,
you know
well,
what?
I don't know what happens at football, but there has to be some like real ramifications of like let's create some stability to that
Yeah.
competition.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the biggest competitor there is, but young people watching that and seeing those coaches going nuts,
Yeah, you don't want high school coaches thinking,
yeah, it's okay for them to do it, right?
yeah, because
Yeah.
then you take a less than official and you make them worse because of all the input.
Yeah, and they quit and they don't want to
Yeah,
coach or officiate anymore,
yeah,
and
yeah,
we need them. Yeah,
yeah. I'm with you.
I thought those guys handled themselves very well. The officials,
Yeah,
very well, very calm, very collected. But you got somebody chirping in your ear. It's just like, uh, after I
yeah,
retired, they asked me why I would if I'd come officiate, and I said no,
yeah,
absolutely not. I don't want to listen to anybody.
yeah. I do think I would be well mannered for officiating, but I definitely don't want to do it. So,
Yeah,
um, but yeah, I mean, it was a fun weekend of wrestling. I was pumped about it, but it was good to, kind of go from the high school season into the final stage of the
yeah,
college season, and NCAA's is next, and that's great. But, tonight we're going to have on Tyler Demoss of Hononegah, and we're gonna jump into the high school season. And I reached out to all the high school coaches in the area, and I've gotten people signed up for the next couple weeks where we're gonna dive in and talk about what happened. This season comes and goes so quick that we're gonna kind of go back through and kind of see what each program had success wise. What are some good things that we can look at and take into the next year. But yeah, I'm excited about it, and looking forward to talk to Tyler, because
yeah.
obviously
It'd be awesome.
Hononegah had a phenomenal season. And just as the legendary former coach, the guy who built everything at Hononegah, the foundation, like, what were your initial thoughts on just the wrestling season for the Indians?
Truthfully, I thought they were just a very, very good team. And the places where they had holes, the kids wrestled hard, and that's how you become that's how you place in state as a dual team. But just watching them, I mean, they had good composure, wrestled hard. Tyler did a great job of coaching and with everything. He's got good coaches too. You get great young coaches in the room. It's what Hononegah is. You're expected. I mean, wrestling's wrestling, but the community of wrestling, Hononegah expects to win. They do. That's what's been from day one. It's been driven to him, and Tyler's done a great job with it. And he's a very, very good technician. I mean, he knows his stuff, and they're good. They're just good. And you know what else? Those kids were great kids. I went to the room a couple of times and just talked to. I mean, they're just good kids, respectful kids. Sometimes you can have a great kid and he can be somewhat of a, pain in your ass. None of these guys are. They're just good, tough wrestlers, and they thrived off each other.
Yeah, yeah. I thought they did a phenomenal job. Obviously, without too much conversation on who they faced right away, but Mount Carmel obviously is a phenomenal program, extremely worthy competitor. Then JCA right after that. I mean, they showed up when they needed to show up, and as a 3A public school, I mean,
Yeah,
they impressed.
yeah. It's kind of funny. The first time we had a state qualifier back like in '92, they couldn't even pronounce Hononegah the right way. So I went up to the head table and I said, "Hey, this is how it's pronounced." And they go, huh. He goes, the guy laughs. He goes, "Well, we'll see if you're here next year." And I said, "We're going to be here for a lot of years." And then it was funny. It's like 10 years later, I saw the guy and I said, "You know how to pronounce it now, don't you?"
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, we do."
Yeah. Yeah. They know the name. Hononegah is known all across the state, for sure. Speaking of some of the performances, I'm sure we're going to get into some of this, but, I want to, start off with it. But man, Jackson Olson is, I mean, he shows up and he doesn't just perform the way you think, like, oh, you're a good wrestle. He shows up, he gets pins when he's not even expected to get a pin. He shows up and gets a pin. He fights hard from whistle to whistle. I mean, I like this kid's attitude, his tenacity, like everything about him is fun to watch.
You know what else I love is his mad awareness. He
Yeah.
knows where he's at and he can scramble. I mean, there were some scrambles at the state tournament. I was just like, "Oh my God, it's
Yeah.
unbelievable." Yeah, he's going to make a great college wrestler.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he did. He had phenomenal weekend. He showed up a lot when he needed to. And then, like you said, like, the kids that needed to not give up bonus points, they showed up and they didn't,
Right.
and, a couple of those matches, what's his, the 32 pounder, 20, muscle,
Yeah.
man, dude, my arms hurt for him. Like, they just, and he's wrestling, top 10, top 5 kids in the state.
Right.
And, you just don't get to go over. And
Yeah.
he fought, he was willing to dislocate and break his arms for the team to do well. And, yeah, he deserves another, shout out, because he just showed up and he was willing to go through pain to make sure that he did his job. So I love watching that kid as well.
Yeah, that's the culture of Hononegah. I mean, kids are tough, and Tyler's carrying it on awesome. I mean, it's just they're going to be great again next year too.
Yeah.
They're going to be tougher than heck. So,
Yeah.
And you know what? It's a public school. And those are kids from this area that are in that lineup. Every one of them. It's not like you go out and grab kids from here or there. It's a great program.
Yeah, and I did see a picture of, I think it was Olson, the Cassiopes, Kurt Smith, and then Sindel, all when they were like little kids or something.
All through the kids club.
I didn't know Kurt Smith. I mean, obviously he's so good. He's good enough that you'd imagine that he did wrestle when he was a kid, but he's kind of so quiet that, and he must be obviously play football too. So you don't really see him all the time.
Oh, he's a hell of a football
Well,
player.
you know what I'm saying? Like, so you don't see him at every off season type thing, because he's doing other things and stuff like that. But, to get third, he got third in the state, correct, this year?
Fourth, I think.
Fourth. And then not to forget Demo, who did get third in the state. He
he's
was in
tougher
that photo as well. Yeah. I mean, so the lineup was, their lineup was great this year, and they performed super well. So,
and a big shout out to the Cassiope mom and dad, because they're the ones that took over the kids club program after we kind of stepped away, and they've done such a tremendous job of getting kids from our community in the program. It's pretty much all Hononegah kids in that program. Every one of them is going to grow up and end up being an Indian.
Yep. And 2 Cassiopes.
Yeah.
One state this year.
Yeah.
So good.
One's a 4-timer.
Yeah, good year for the Cassiopes. Yeah. It was a phenomenal year. Great year for the area. Obviously, we had multiple teams from Northern Illinois get to the state tournament team wise, and that's a good thing. I was really excited about having the help that I did at the individual state and the team state. So shout out to Andrew Walters for helping, and shout out to Dan and you to jump on and help out. I thought we did a great job this year of elevating the sport of wrestling.
So do I.
So I appreciate your guys's.
You've done a great job, Dalton.
Yeah, it's just keeping us on top of things. It's been good. I mean, we've been working hard at it, and obviously we all love the sport. We love the growth of the sport, and it's a hard sport. Like you said, you got to be so tough to get through this sport, and it's a challenge to get people to do it. I mean, it's just hard to do, and I think that we did everything that we could to put wrestling on a pedestal for the area, and for that, I'm looking forward to what we can do in the years to come, next year, whatever. So,
like 99.9% of our stuff is positive. We are positive. I mean, we are the high school, the area, the coaches, the kids, anything. It's just, just the publicity has just been tremendous. And I mean, I think people enjoy it. I hope, you know.
I hope so too. Who doesn't enjoy a good Marty Kaiser story?
Right. I guess an idiot sitting outside and stocking cap on.
Yeah. But it was an awesome year. I was super pumped about it, and I'm looking forward to the next coming years. But yeah, we should be getting Coach on here soon, and I thought it was good. We got to get him on before you get too cold. The sun's going down.
Well, plus I got to watch live from the players.
Yeah.
They got a good golf tournament this weekend.
I thought the players just finished.
No.
That's this coming week.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was gonna say last week was not the players. The players is this week.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff going on then.
Yeah. I won't freeze to death. I'm warm.
Okay. Well, I reached out to him, so he should be jumping on. But yeah,
it was great. Yeah, McNames. We had fun at the state tournament. It was a good time.
Yeah, you guys looked like it. I mean, that tournament's so much fun, obviously, just to be around people, to see people. You ran into Steve Marinetti, my college wrestling coach, former NCAA champ for Illinois. He's always
just a great human being.
Yeah, awesome guy. Helped me out a lot with my life. And you just kind of run into everybody, right? How was it?
It was great. It was awesome. We had fun. My wife comes. She loves it. She did a great job helping out. Technology stuff, a lot of it.
Helping you guys make sure you're online.
Yeah, the tech person, Yeah,
you
got to have, you know what? If you're going to be a great coach, you got to have a great wife.
Yeah. And, I was just having this conversation. Kudos to you for lasting as long as you did, because it's so much time away. Like, it's so much investment.
Yeah.
And it's just challenging. And so,
we talk about that at times. Like a lot of times I'll say, I'm sorry. I 21 years as a head coach. She goes, Marty, I wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you guys did a great job.
She was a big part of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she probably kept you in line.
Oh, she totally did. Somebody has to.
Yeah. Yeah, the program has benefited greatly from her support over you. But
without a doubt.
Yeah, what are you guys going to do with all the extra accolades?
In the room?
Yeah.
Don't worry. We're working on it. Mary Ann's and I are getting everything done. Everything's going to be up on the walls. It's all good stuff.
Okay.
Yep. You know what? The year I came in 1988 and looked, and there was only 2 state champs ever, or 2 state qualifiers, I think, no, 2 or 3 ever in the school's history since 1957. And now I think there's 137 state qualifiers, 15 state champs, like 36 place winners. We've been to state as a team 7 times, brought home 4 trophies of the 7. I mean, it's mind-boggling what has occurred.
Yeah,
it's a culture,
Yeah, you
know what else? Those head coaches are all alumni from Hononegah. Most of them. Yeah, most of them. I mean, Justin Weeman. I mean, Tyler DeMoss, Anthony Myers. I mean,
Yeah, most of them are. I was lucky enough to come up there and become an assistant coach for a little bit. And, I was really grateful for that. I saw a lot about how programs operate and how the culture is important. And, I got to got to be around you, got to be around the program for about a year and a half. So it was, yeah, I got a real intimate view of Hononegah wrestling, and I've always tried to replicate a component of Hononegah wrestling, and it's challenging. Some people don't get it because they never saw it, and it is a special place. So they're doing great for the area, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's awesome. Tyler, he's carrying on that tradition.
Yeah. All right, welcome Tyler Demoss.
What's up, guys?
You're the
What's
first
up, Tyler?
coach.
What's
Congratulations.
up, Marty? Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
awesome.
Thanks, Marty.
You're the first coach to join the postseason podcast,
Cool.
where we can kind of dive back into the season. And
Yeah.
obviously there's a lot to dive into with Hononegah wrestling. And, I don't know where to start necessarily, but just initially, just generally, how are you feeling about the year, and how you feel about how it went?
Yeah. A couple weeks removed now. It's a little easier to process it a little bit, but right away it was tough. Getting so close and not getting it, but now 2 weeks later, a little bit more perspective, and it was a great season. I mean, we had a lot of ups and downs, and I mean there was a lot of times where the coaching staff, we didn't think we'd be in that state finals duel. We had some real downs throughout the year, where whether it was injuries or we weren't wrestling good or we couldn't find the right guy at the right weight. We halfway through the year there were some maybe not doubts, but like we started thinking, man, are we gonna be healthy enough? Are we gonna be together enough to go do this thing? And we got healthy at the right time, and we didn't wrestle our best at team sectional, so we were a little bit like fired up those 2 practices before team state. We really trying to get our best performance out of them, and they showed up to Bloomington just in a great mood. They were just happy to be there and just ready to wrestle, just grateful to be there. And these guys just love wrestling, so they were just excited to get the opportunity, and they made the most of it.
Yes, they did. And Marty and I were reminiscing about it before this. Let's go back to the first of the final stage, the state tournament. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You had eight state qualifiers. 9 state qualifiers. Which is that a record?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Did you tie it or did you break it?
I think we had 8 last year, so
okay.
I think it would have.
Yeah, so you got 9. You got 9 state qualifiers. You leave with how many placers?
6.
6 state placers, a state champion, 2 more or 2 state finalists, right? Yep. So 3 total state finalists. And then a 3rd place, a 4th place, and what place did Jackson Olsen finish up with?
4th.
So 2 fourths. Yeah, just an unbelievable state tournament. So what are your thoughts about the state tournament? How did the guys perform? And
Yeah, they were ready to go when we showed up. They were fired up. They got a great workout Thursday morning Thursday afternoon before their first match, and they just kept the ball rolling all weekend. And they were supporting each other, obviously, when they could, but if they had to go take care of themselves, they did. But man, they were really focused all weekend. It was I think that Friday night round, we had some losses that a lot of kids would have let derail them for the rest of the tournament, and some would have slid back and got 6th, losing in the semis there. But they all regrouped and they all won their next one. So that was huge. We talked about that Friday night. Like, don't let this affect your next one. We all got to win our next one, and they did. So that was awesome. They just had great focus all weekend, and then I think we talked a lot the last month of the season about just heart and fight, and they had a lot of that as well. I mean, there were some matches where double overtime, something like that, and it just comes down to fight. You got to be mentally sharp and making the right decisions, but it's a lot of fight, and they were ready to fight. They had a lot of heart, and I think that won them a lot of matches.
Yes. Speaking of your 1 state champion in the boys, Rocco Cassiope, what can you say about how he kind of prepared leading up to the state tournament, and then that state tournament and how he went through every match. And again, he didn't have an easy route. He had Carrera from Marmion right away, and but yeah, so just or
Yeah.
who did he have right away? Right?
He had Carrera in the quarters. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was 26 for most of the year, and then we went to Dvorak at 26. He wrestled great, and it was just the weight cut. I mean, he got way too far overweight in between days, and he was making a real effort not to get too far over. So it was just like he was growing, and we did a few tournaments at 132, and he decided I feel really good at 132. He looked really good at 132, so we said, all right, let's just stay up and not kill ourselves to make 26. We felt like we could win either weight. So yeah, it was a little bit of a challenge adjusting to going up a weight in the last minute, but he did a great job. I mean, Rocco's so focused every day coming into practice. I mean, even when he has to cut weight, it's in the back of his mind. I mean, he's thinking about getting better at wrestling every day. And I think he still has a huge ceiling. I think he's got a lot of room to get better, but yeah, he had a great tournament. Again, a lot of heart. I mean, he didn't technically wrestle his best at all times. I mean, he made some mistakes, but he had a lot of heart to get himself back in those matches and or get the match winning takedown or whatever it was. But yeah, he had a great year. I think he got taken down a couple of times at Ironman, and then didn't get taken down again till the last takedown of the state finals. So it was a great year for him. But I think there's a lot of room to get better still.
And your two other state finalists, TJ Silva and Brody Sindel, like we talk about this a lot so far lately. It's like we cannot believe how much better they are than the rest of the field. And obviously they wrestled two kids that are top 3 in the country, maybe top 2, I think, both of them. It's just amazing how good those kids are. But those other two, TJ and Brody, they separated themselves so well against everybody else. Like, what do you think about just their performance in general?
Yeah, with TJ, I mean, there was a thought to go to 44, but we kind of had the conversation with him and his parents that, like, where are we the best? Like, where do we have our best performances? And we all said 138. So let's go 138. Let's just go where we're best. And in 3A Illinois, there's just nowhere to run. You're gonna find great kids. Like, obviously Seth Mendoza's a little bit better than those guys at 44, but he was still gonna have his hands full with those guys at 44. So we just kind of decided, where are we best? Let's just go there. And yeah, he was just so dominant through regional, sectional, state at 138. I mean, he's a hammer. But obviously you get Mendoza in the finals, and it's another level. And TJ went into that match though with a good mindset. Like, he was giving himself a chance to win. He thought he could win. He was doing well early on in the flurries, but he didn't attack in the flurries. He just kind of defended. And against Mendoza, you got to attack him, or he's just going to keep attacking you, and eventually he's going to find something. So I think he had the right mindset going into it, just a little outmatched. But I was proud of how he wrestled and just his mindset going into it. Same thing with Brody. I mean, Brody's never wrestled a kid he doesn't think he can beat. And he expected to beat Will Denny. So it was tough for him after the match. Obviously, he just had his ACL surgery, so he's laid up now. He can't really get back on the mat and do anything about it. I mean, he had the team state run, but I think he was really itching to just keep wrestling and go to folk style nationals or get into training freestyle, and doesn't get that opportunity now. So he's going to be lifting upper body for the next 6 months, just thinking about the next time he can get on the mat. He's going to be fired up. But Brody had a great tournament. I mean, he was obviously a little limited right now, or when he was wrestling, with the torn ACL, but he did a really good job when he had that time off, like adjusting his offense to that knee. Like, he knew he couldn't be quite as explosive off of it. He knew he couldn't really, with his duck under, he can't sit fully down on that knee anymore. So he had to make some adjustments technically. and he did. Like it's not easy to, have to go to like your third or fourth attack on a guy that good and still take him down. And in the semis, yeah, he got 3 takedowns on Gutierrez, who's a really tough kid. So, yeah, but Brody's such a special kid. His offense allows him to do so many different things, and yeah, he's just an absolute warrior. Just so proud of him for even making the decision to get on the mat. He could have had surgery like a month ago and went on the recovery process, but he said, you know what, if my team needs me, a team state, I think I'm healthy enough to wrestle individual state. Let's do it. And so he's just an absolute warrior.
Yeah, he did great. I mean, and your 3 other placers, Jackson Olson, Kurt Smith, and Connor Diemel. What are your thoughts on those guys' performances?
Yeah, like I said, they all 3 lost in their semi match, and it's easy to slide and have a bad performance your next one and still feel sorry for yourself. But they bounced back. They all won their next one. And then Connor got some revenge in the 3rd place match. He lost to that kid twice at the Dvorak. So awesome to get that win. Yeah, Jackson, it was such a great year for him. Just these last 2 years, he's been a little bit undersized, but you could see the skill was getting there. And then this year, it kind of all came together for him, and he got some big wins and lost in overtime for 3rd, but had a great match there as well. Kurt had a good tournament. I think he knows he could have scored a little bit more. He kind of played the one takedown and then hand fight game. And he played that against JCA and it didn't work out for him. Like that kid got the one takedown of the match. Like for him, it's just he had to open it up a little bit more and he didn't. So I thought he could have won the bracket. We all thought. I think he thought he was going to win the bracket, but just didn't open up quite enough. But for Kurt Smith, it was awesome to take 4th. So it was cool.
And just speaking a little bit, we can kind of go into it and talk about this in general. But Max Haskins was another qualifier. He's a senior. Yep. He's made tremendous growth over the last couple of years. What do you think about that senior class and guys like Max and how they did this year?
Yeah, that was it's tough. After we lost to Marmion, we were all hugging each other and crying and stuff, and it wasn't because we lost. It was because we knew it was our last time with these seniors. So yeah, it was really tough the last couple of weeks, knowing this is, at least wrestling for Hononegah. I know we're going to do some stuff this summer with freestyle, but really tough, being our last couple of weeks together. And, with those seniors, they had such a great career all the way from freshman year. They came in and we were 5th in the conference that first year, and they decided like, we're going to put in the work. Like I could sit there and say all day, like, come in and work out and you got to lift and you got to do this and that in the summer, but they took it upon them to like get the groups together and say, oh, we're going to go in. We're all going to go in. We're all going to lift. We're all going to wrestle today. And they just stacked days, throughout the years. There's one day after another. And that class is so special with Connor, Kurt, TJ, Max, Max Aranki, Grayson Catone, Ethan Ballard, Gina. It's such a special group of kids, and I was just blessed to be able to coach them. I really enjoyed my time with them, and especially this season. Our last run together, we tried to really stop and smell the flowers at times and feel like, hey, this is our last Dvorak together, or this is our last whatever together, and they did a great job. They're such great kids. They're great leaders. They're great students. They really showed the way for a lot of these younger guys coming up.
Yeah, and just going into that, the other Cassiope that won state, Gina Cassiope, she's now a 4-time, so she's one of the OGs. Like she's the original. And when I came into practice, I was just impressed by her toughness. Right, she's just as tough as all the other boys, and if not tougher than a few that I would mention. But she. So, just what was your experience like that, and your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was a great year for Gina. I mean, last year she she had some close matches, especially that state finals match. It came down to the last 2 seconds to get a takedown. She didn't want to do that again. So um, a lot more focus on dominating this year. We're not just winning; we're trying to get bonus points and dominate, push the pace, take down, cut them, and with the girls, it's mostly freestyle. So we had her on a lot of takedown, cut, takedown, cut. Um, we don't spend a whole lot of time working top. So it was just a lot of, hey, let's take this girl down 12 times, whatever we got to do to tech her. Let's just push the pace and dominate, separate ourselves. And her first time kind of, working with that mindset was at Ironman, and she lost last year in Ironman. So she was really fired up going into that, and had a great tournament. She 7-0 in the finals against a top 10 girl in the country, but was just it was a dominant 7-0. She rode, she won every position, she won every scramble. She finished. I think she only shot 2 or 3 leg attacks, finished 2 of them. So um, a lot more focus on dominating this year, and she kept that rolling right into state. I know the girl she wrestled in the finals was pretty tough, and she was talking throughout the tournament to some of the other girls like, "Oh, I'm going to take her out. I'm gonna stop her from winning 4." So that fired Gina up even more. Like, no, I'm gonna separate myself. So yeah, it was great. She bonus points all the way through the state tournament, and yeah, just dominant for her 4th. It was awesome.
Yeah. And one other question I want to hear from you, Tyler, first, and then I want to hear from Marty. But we were just talking about this before. Tyler, you're an alumni. You went to Hononegah. You were in the state finals for Hononegah. You've been in the program for a long time. What has it been like to kind of, I don't want to say resurrect, because not too long ago Hononegah was doing perfectly fine, but like, what does it feel like to kind of like bring that program back to where it's been, and what do you think the history did to make it easier on you to do?
Yeah. Well, Marty set the bar really high for us to start. I mean, those teams that he had were incredible, and I've talked about that with our guys a lot. Like we're chasing something here that's not it's not very easy. It's not easy to take better than 4th. Obviously, that's what we've done, and it's hard to do. Obviously, Harlem's had some great teams. I think the best they've done is 4th, right? Or did they get
I think
3rd?
they got 3rd, didn't they?
Might be fourth or third. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got 3rd, didn't they?
I don't know.
It's definitely the highest in the conference. So
Yeah. So the bar was set high, and it's not easy to get a trophy, and especially with the rolling of the P's and just getting whatever team you get, you kind of have to be the best in the state to even get a trophy now. Like at least like one of the top 2 teams to even get a trophy. So that was the really driving us. Those 2 things. Like, hey, yeah, we might get a bad draw. We have to be the best team in the state to even get a trophy. And then yeah, if we want to be even the best team in school history, we really have to push ourselves. Like Marty had obviously the great teams that he had, and then my junior year we took 4th. So there's been some great teams at Hononegah, and that has definitely pushed us and gave us something to work for. And yeah, it's awesome being a part of that history, and getting to coach after Marty and Justin and Jason and Anthony. It's been awesome.
yeah, I was going to ask, what do you think the benefit of when people go in that room and they see all the history, like, how is it, I guess, yeah, what do you think about when kids that maybe aren't even fully aware of what it means to get to the state finals or the team state, like when you walk in that room, you see all of the history, like how much of a benefit is that to your program?
Oh yeah, they see like, hey, if I just stick with it, I listen to coach, I work hard, I can be one of these guys. It's not like we're selling them on something that's unattainable that we haven't done yet. Like we can just look up at the walls and be like, hey man, like I did this myself, or this guy, our assistant coach did it, or Tony's or Rocco's brother did it, Rocco did it. Like there's just so many different things or people to point to. Like, hey, this guy stuck Hononegah Wrestling Kids Club. He went all the way through the kids club. He did he worked hard in high school, and he got what he wanted. You can do the same. You don't have to really leave Hononegah to be a state champion. I mean, like Rocco Rocco, all these guys were developed in that room, pretty much year round. But yeah, I mean, they're all developed in that room, and those guys walked in with the same thing. Like Rocco walked in there when he was 6 years old, looking around the room like, man, I want to be one of those guys. So that's where it starts. It's just, yeah, they get the mindset like, oh, I want to be one of those guys. I want to be on that wall one day. So yeah, it's a huge advantage having the history we do.
And Marty, we talked about this a little bit, but what do you feel as a past coach and somebody that had a lot of the history? What does it feel like to watch how there's success this year?
Well, the biggest problem is we're running out of space.
Yeah.
It's just awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, our guy that did our wall last year kind of didn't get it done in time, so we're doing both this year. And I'm going, oh my God, I mean, it's a lot of stuff's going to be going on the wall this year. But it's just, I got lucky when I came in. I had a lot of great people that helped out, and it just continued. And like I said before, Tyler's a great coach, an unbelievable technician. And the thing that he had more than anything is he had such a great group of kids. Right?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if anybody can hear. I thought.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
We're giving you the platform right now.
Okay. Yeah. So, but like, I mean, like Tyler, it's sometimes you run into where you get a bunch of kids that are good, but they're not so good as you got to kind of really kind of kick them in the butt. I think this team this year is just incredible. Yeah. And it's from the top down. It starts at the head coach, starts with Tyler, and it's great. I mean, it was fun to watch him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try not to go to the room that often either. I'd love to go in every day and watch, but yeah, I like to let Tyler do what he's doing.
Hey, you're more than welcome anytime.
Yeah. And speaking of the room, I last 2 years I went in there and filmed practice at the end of the year, and what I wish other schools and other programs could learn is the consistency of the work, right? And it was just like, if you watch the last year's video and you watch this year's video, it's literally the same video.
Yeah.
It's just work. And sometimes I think a lot of coaches and a lot of programs get a little bit too complicated, where it's like, if you just simplify it, do the work every day at a high level with intention and focus and skill, a lot of things can happen. And that, a testament to Tyler, you did a great job running the room. Clearly it's paying off. So congrats on the season. And anything else, guys, before we cut it off?
It's from the top all the way down.
Yeah.
Not only at the high school, but all the way down to the kids club.
Absolutely.
Be in control of everything, and he's doing a great job of that. Yeah. And one more thing, before the Cassiopes are done, they're going to be the best wrestling family ever in the state of Illinois.
They're definitely going to have a lot of the hard work.
I'm telling you right now, I truly believe it.
Yeah. Oh, they're on track. I mean, they gotta win a couple more here, but it'd be awesome.
And they're good kids. They're great kids. All the kids in your team are great kids.
They're the best. Yeah, I love those guys. They're the best.
Yep, I love it. Thanks again, Tyler, for coming on. I love to kick off the postseason stuff with you because I think if there's anything that I'm trying to do is just elevate excellence in the community of wrestling, and Hononegah displayed excellence at a high level this year, and congrats on the season. Good luck with the off season and the next year, and we look forward to doing it again.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Dalton. Appreciate it.
Great job, Tyler. Congratulations.
Thanks, Marty.
You got it, buddy.
Thank you. See you. All right. See ya. See you guys.